Could IShowSpeed run a country? Somewhere in the last 2 years, a kid who built his entire career screaming into a webcam, started landing in countries, Sui, Ronaldo, and getting treated like a head of state. Tens of thousands of people showing up, streets shut down, local officials showing up to greet him personally, not for a president, not for a musician, for a Twitch streamer who once had a full meltdown over a chicken sandwich. So today, I want to ask a completely serious question. Could IShowSpeed actually run a country? Not would it be funny, not would chaos happen. I mean it. If you handed this man an actual government, would it work even a little? Let's establish what he actually is first, because it's weirder than loud YouTuber. He started as a small gaming channel, grew off pure unfiltered reaction content, and then somewhere along the way, he stopped being a creator and turned into an actual global event. His trips to China, to Nigeria, to Ghana weren't blogs anymore. They were treated as a grounds for state visits, crowds, security, local government officials showing up specifically to be part worth sitting with. Government started engaging with this man like a diplomat because his reach with young people does something actual diplomacy has been failing to do for years. So he's not just a streamer anymore, whether he signed up for this or not. And that means the question isn't as dumb as it sounds. It actually splits into two real questions. Could he handle the symbolic, cultural, moral side of running a country? And could he handle the actual machinery of running one? Let's go one at a time. First, what does running a country even mean? Broken all the way down, it's not just one job. It's like 6 jobs wearing a trench coat pretending to be one job. You've got policy, the economy, infrastructure. You've got diplomacy, negotiating with other countries, keeping alliances from falling apart. You've got crisis management. What happens when disaster hits and everyone's looking at you? You've got the boring bureaucratic grind, budgets, ministries, paperwork nobody claps for. You've got public communication, being the face people rally around. And you've got legitimacy, actually getting people, institutions, and other countries to trust you long term. Most actual world leaders are bad at half of these and just okay at the rest. Nobody's great at all 6. So we're not comparing Speed to some perfect fictional leader. We're comparing him to the actual flawed humans already doing this job badly in real life. Let's start with the case for him, because there's more of one than you think. Public communication and morale. This is genuinely his strength. His whole career is built on getting a crowd of people emotionally locked in real time with zero warm-up. So that is functionally the exact same skill a leader uses giving a speech after a national tragedy or trying to get people fired up about a project. He doesn't need a speechwriter to generate energy. The energy is the whole product. That's rare. Cultural soft power, also stronger than you'd expect. His trips overseas didn't just get views, they moved actual money. Local businesses saw spikes, tourism boards noticed. A country's global image is a real strategic asset, and this man has shifted how millions of young people around the world see entire countries basically overnight. Doing something official government ad campaigns spend actual millions trying and failing to pull off. In youth engagement, this might be his single best stat. Every government on earth struggles to get anyone under 25 to care about their own country's institutions. Speed doesn't even have that problem even slightly. If a country wanted its young population to feel proud or hyped or like their country actually mattered on the world stage, he is one of the most effective tools that currently exist for making that happen. There's also something real about how unscripted he is. He's not performing sincerity. He's just reacting, and people can tell the difference. In a world where every politician sounds like they're reading off a card, that raw, unfiltered energy reads as trustworthy. Even when it's chaotic, people believe what looks unrehearsed. So if the actual job were something like national hype man, or youth ambassador, or cultural attaché, he's honestly overqualified. Now the harder half, the case against him. Policy takes patience, and there is zero evidence this man has ever demonstrated patience in his life. Budgets, healthcare systems, infrastructure planning, these are all slow, boring, multi-year processes with basically no payoff for months or years. His entire career has changed the opposite instinct, instant reaction, instant reward, instant feedback. Nothing about sitting through an 8-hour hearing on agricultural subsidies plays to a single one of his strengths. Diplomacy needs restraint, and restraint is not exactly his brand. His biggest strength, having zero filter, becomes an actual liability the second you put him in a room with foreign national officials. Imagine IShowSpeed in the room, and they're just talking, and he out of says, he starts singing that song, that infamous song by Kanye, If You Know, You Know. One unscripted comment from an actual head of state can move markets or start a diplomatic incident. Speed, live, unscripted in that room is not a fun bit. That's a genuine risk. Crisis management needs calm, not energy. When something goes wrong in a country, the job of the leader is to look steady, controlled, reassuring. His entire persona is the opposite of that. Escalation, volatility, chaos as entertainment. Great for a stream. Don't get that wrong. Don't get it twisted. Actively dangerous if that's the tone during, say, an actual evacuation order. And the real killer is legitimacy. Institutions, other government markets, they all extend trust based on predictability. His public persona is built entirely on being unpredictable. That's a feature when you're a streamer. It's a massive problem when you're trying to get a trade deal signed or stabilize a currency and nobody knows what you're going to say next. Imagine he just all of a sudden says, nah, at a press conference with China. Well, there was World War III, guys. Running a country isn't a solo stream. It's thousands of people. Nobody ever sees economists, career diplomats, city planners doing unglamorous work that never gets clipped. His entire success has become from being the loudest person in any room. Actual leadership at the administrative level often means being the quietest, most disciplined person in the room and locking in at all times and deferring to people who know more than you do. That is not a skill he has ever had to use. So, full president, no country should be handing this man a security briefing, but writing him off completely misses what's actually interesting here. Modern soft power runs through culture and attention and youth sentiment just as much as it runs through treaties. Countries already spending enormous amounts of money trying to buy the kind of authentic engagement this man generates for free just by showing up and being himself. The realistic version of Speed in government isn't president. It's something closer to a cultural ambassador, a tourism figurehead, an unofficial minister of morale, someone brought in specifically because traditional political messaging has completely lost the youth audience, and he clearly hasn't. That's not even a joke role. Countries already do versions of this with celebrity tourism, ambassadors, and athlete diplomats. He'd just be the loudest, most online version of a job that already exists. So could IShowSpeed run a country? No. Not the parts that need patience, restraint, and quiet competence. Could he move a country's global image, energize an entire generation, and generate more real international attention than most national PR budgets combined? Genuinely, yes. The man has more PR than Lamine Yamal. And that's impressive. Maybe the real takeaway isn't president or nothing. Maybe the job of running a country has quietly split into two jobs, and there's a growing seat at that table for guys exactly like him in the half that's left.